Mina Kimes is with us now. It is nice to see you, Mina. We are headed into the biggest Dolphin game since I don't know when. And I'm going to say it's bigger than the one they just played against the Ravens because I think Buffalo is better than Miami, and this is a super interesting game. Are you in the camp that believes that Miami has been exposed here and the injuries are going to be a problem, and Miami would have very little reason for confidence against this Bills team this week?
First, I'd like to say I love your polo shirt today, Dan. Haven't seen that one before. I am nervous if I'm Miami, and I'm mostly nervous because of the defense. Buffalo fans will give them no sympathy for the injuries. Obviously, they had their fair share of injuries, but I think the timing of them is such a problem. Those injuries came earlier in the season, and you've seen that Bills defense make adjustments, young players stepping up. They've evolved their scheme. Whereas Miami, and I think this was a real big problem against Baltimore, where you saw so many miscommunications on the back end. Lamar Jackson was amazing, but guys were open. There were busted coverages all over the place. They got them with the motion play that they use. That's a problem at this point in the season. The fact that you are down Xavier Howard, obviously Bradley Chubb is horrible. Jalen Phillips is already injured. It's a really bad time to lose your most important players, and then to lose them right before this game. I'll be very curious to see how Vic Fangio approaches that challenge, because it is not going to be easy for him, especially with some of the deficiencies in personnel in the secondary.
Well, what do you make as someone who digs deep on where it is the advantages are found? What do you do with Fangio's never had any answers for Josh Allen? Like, if you're building your whole division on toppling the Bills, statistically, Fangio, no matter who his defense is, can never do anything against Josh Allen. So why would that change?
Well, earlier in the season, when these teams play, they didn't have Jalen Ramsey, should be noted. Phillips was still coming off of the injury, but the Bills' offense was also really different. I don't know if you remember this, but Stephon Diggs went absolutely nuclear in that game, and he hasn't really been a factor for a few weeks now. This Bills' offense under Joe Brady has been more about like ball control, throwing to the tight ends. So I think for Fangio, it's a different challenge from what it was earlier in the season. I do think having Ramsey in helps a lot. I think on that side of the ball, your hope, frankly, and this is something that I think Fangio will probably orient his game plan towards, is that you get YOLO Josh Allen. We're coming off of a game, by the way, where Josh Allen did not play well against New England. He has been a little bit up and down this season. There are games where he just feels compelled to go nuclear and put on the cape and make throws with three guys covering one guy downfield. And the truth, Dan, is the best way to get him to do that has nothing to do with Vic Fangio. It's the offense. The offense has to put up points pretty much every drive to force Josh Allen into that mindset where he feels like he has to be superhero Josh to keep up with them.
Can you explain to me, please, just in ways that I can understand, because the position is changing so much, the schemes and systems around the positions are changing so much, that Cam Newton tells me that so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so game managers, no one would ever accuse Josh Allen of that because he plays the style of football that we think is reckless and fun and can be great, and he can have 5 turnovers. Explain to me what happened against the Patriots, where the Patriots almost won that game even though they had like 4 first-half turnovers because Josh Allen was so terrible. What did Belichick do to Josh Allen that's repeatable?
Nothing. He was just off. And I that kind of goes back to what I was saying. I feel like with Josh Allen, it's almost less about what the defense does and more about what version of him you get. The risk reward balance is always the thing with him, and the reason we accept some of the riskier plays is because the reward is so great. If you happen to get one of those games where the risk, it's tilted too far towards risk and not enough towards reward, because he was just off throwing the ball in that game. It wasn't like the Bills, Patriots defense was throwing anything crazy at him. They do have a very good run defense, better than Miami's, I would say. But it really came down to just the quarterback having an off day and then putting too much pressure on himself. And I want to just, if you're a Miami fan, you're listening to this and you're saying, well, she's making it sound like because of her defense, we don't have a chance. I don't believe that. I really think if your offense can bounce back, and we have seen this Miami offense, by the way, bounce back after bad performances pretty frequently over the last 2 years. If they can bounce back and put pressure on Allen to keep up, that is how I think you start forcing him into making some of those decisions.